why I flipped my class. The first thing that appealed to me with the flipped classroom is right now, or pre-flip, I had so little time. I had so much information that I had to get taught, and I had so little time to do it. The state required me to teach American history from 1607 to 1887, which equals out to about 280 years, and I have less than 187 days to get that information to my students in a way that they can retain it, not just for the state test at the end of the year, but for the rest of their lives. And so what it turned into in my class was a lot of drill and kill, drill and kill. You need to remember this, you have to remember this. And my class looked a lot like this. There was me giving a lecture, and I had three groups of students. I had the middle group, the ones I was actually reaching with my lecture, who were tuned in and listening and learning something. I had the lower level of students who had no clue what I was getting or the information I was giving them. It just wasn't sinking in. I needed to do something different for this group to reach them. And then I had the higher level who were just not fully engaged in this setup in my classroom. It turned out to be about 80 to 90% of me lecturing the class and giving them the information they needed to know, and only about 10 to 20% of application, much of which had to be finished at home. I thought, you know, I'm not reaching enough students with this, and I need to change my classroom. Though the majority of students were being reached, the lower and the higher students were not getting enough out of my class, not what I wanted them to get out of my class. Now that I've flipped my classroom, it ends up being about 10 to 20% of lecture time, which mainly they get outside of the classroom, and 80 to 90% of their time is spent on application. It looks more like this. I've got my students in differentiated groups, and I can go to each group and help them at their level. I can have the higher level students peer tutor the lower level students while I'm working with the middle level students, or I can have the middle and higher students working on other projects while I am working with my lower level students. Before, differentiation seemed near impossible for me to do. How could I do one more thing on top of all the things I was already expected to do? How could I, in a class of 34 students, have lessons that reach students on many levels? It just seemed impossible. Now that I've flipped my classroom, I can differentiate. I am able to use my time in class to reach the different levels of students in different ways. I also have time. I have more time than I could have ever imagined having. And I have more success for more students. I feel like I have more students who are retaining the information, getting the information, and having a hands-on experience with history that hopefully they will take with them well past 8th grade. I'm so thankful that I found a program where I'm able to still give my students the valuable lecture information that they need, but have enough time to do the activities that really enrich and bring history to life.